Morgan Ortagus is the former State Department spokesperson. She joins us now. Morgan, the White House's policy on North Korea is shrouded in ambiguity. Do you have any insight as to where they might go?
Well, not yet. I think that this was somewhat purposeful. It's a new administration. What they've signaled in the review that they put out a few weeks ago is that they're not going to be the President Obama strategic patience plan, but they also don't necessarily want a grand strategy that we were pursuing in the Trump administration. I think what's important to note is that Kurt Campbell, who's very well respected on both sides of the aisle and working on DPRK issues, Kurt has signaled that they're going to use the basis of the Singapore summit. You'll remember, of course, President Trump and Kim Jong-un were there. They're going to use the basics of that text going forward to have any sort of agreements, further agreements with Kim Jong-un and with DPRK. What was really important, John, what happened at that Singapore summit is for the first time ever, we got a leader commitment. That means we got it at the presidential level and at the Kim Jong-un level. We got a leader commitment to denuclearization in North Korea, and that had not happened before. So it looks like they'll be building on the substance of the Trump administration, but maybe not necessarily pursuing the same style.
I mean, I was there in Singapore along with you. I was there in Hanoi as well. I didn't get to go to the demilitarized zone, which would have been really interesting to see. But we got a commitment. The United States got a commitment from Kim Jong-un to denuclearize. They hadn't done much about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly troubling issue set. It's one that's very hard to work through. However, we did not see during the Trump administration any of the testing of nuclear weapons or of ICBMs that would have been that are very threatening and very troubling to the United States. So what I think we're looking for from the Biden team is they may not want to deal with DPRK. They may want to deal with China and Iran and other issues. But what happens when and if Kim Jong-un decides he's not getting enough attention on the world stage and he does decide to launch an ICBM or does decide to test a weapon, we need to know then what the Biden team's plan will be. I know from working on these issues with Steve Biegun, who is our Deputy Secretary of State, that it's very hard and very complicated to say anything publicly on this. It remains a mystery for most administrations, not just this one.
Senator Bill Hagerty, who was, of course, the ambassador to Japan during the Trump administration, put out a statement today saying, quote, "I strongly urge President Biden to avoid a return to a policy of strategic patience, the Obama-era approach of ignoring North Korea as it ratcheted up its offensive missile and nuclear weapons capabilities. A combination of active engagement, maximum pressure, and deterrence is the way to ensure the North Korean regime fulfills its commitment to denuclearize." You said that they plan on building on Singapore. What about in terms of maximum pressure?
Well, I certainly agree with the senator there. We saw at the UN that the Trump administration was able to pursue and to get enacted the toughest sanctions that we had ever seen at the UN against North Korea. That was a big diplomatic accomplishment. But if you want to deal, and this is where Senator Hagerty was so right, if you want to deal with China and with all the other pressing issues in the region, you're going to have to deal with DPRK. You can't get away from it. It's a part of everything that's going on in the region. There's actually times during the Trump administration, believe it or not, that China was helpful on this issue because they saw any sort of skirmishes or any sort of war in North Korea to be something that would be very detrimental to them. So you can bring people together on this issue. You just have to prioritize it.
Just real quick, last question. The president is also going to ask Moon Jae-in for a strong message against China. But Moon Jae-in is very wary about doing that. He doesn't want to anger Beijing. I mean, he's got to live in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, but he's going to have to stand up to the Chinese, and I think that the Biden team is right to do this. Listen, I've been very critical of Biden's foreign policy on Iran, and as it relates to Russia, you had the congressman earlier talking on about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, but I'll give them credit that I think they're making smart moves in Asia thus far. I mean, what you have to do is build upon what we were doing in the Trump administration. We revived the Quad meeting in Asia, which did not happen during the Obama years. We revived that in the Trump administration, and it looks like, frankly, that I think the Biden team and the Blinken team are following our game plan in Asia, and I hope that they do more of it.
All right. Morgan Ortagus, great to see you. I hope you get to hear some good music this weekend, and give Adina a hug for all of us.
Thanks, John.